Welcome back to France 24. It's now time for business news, and Matthew's right here with us in the studio. Matthew, President Obama is due to speak about the economy today.
Yes, and he'll be talking about the fiscal cliff. This is the package, $600 billion package of tax rises and spending cuts that will take effect in January unless there's a deal done in Washington on cutting the deficit. And what's the likely impact of the fiscal cliff? Well, the impartial Congressional Budget Office has said it would put the US back into recession. GDP down 0.5% next year, unemployment up at just over 9%. It's currently just under 8%. So that would be bad news for the economy if they don't get a deal.
Yeah, and markets on Wall Street, of course, have been down because of those worries.
That's right. They hate the uncertainty. All of the major indices on Wall Street down 1 to 1.5% on Thursday. And in Asia, markets have all gone negative as well in the trading session on Friday. As you can see there, the Shanghai Composite down 0.4%.
Well, we're staying in Asia. We've just got some new figures coming out of China.
Lots of data coming out of China this Friday. The growth rate, of course, has hit a three-year low of 7.4% in the latest quarter. But figures on industrial production out this morning are a bit more encouraging, up at 9.6% year on year. That was better than September. Now, earlier in the day, we heard that inflation actually fell slightly. Consumer prices up 1.7% from a year earlier. That was down from the 1.9% figure in September. Now, that means there could still be some scope for more stimulus by the Chinese government. Now, while growth may be slowing, ambitions in China are still large. The city of Chongqing is hoping to create the world's biggest financial centre.
With its replica of Paris's iconic bridge, Chongqing might look a bit crass. But the city in southwestern China, with half of France's population, wants more than just emulate the West. It wants to go far beyond. A massive ongoing project aims to make it the world's next financial capital.
We launched the project in 2009, just as the global financial crisis was raging. The crisis isn't over yet, especially in Europe, but I'm confident our project will be successful because China's economy is going strong.
Construction of Finance City has already started. Skyscrapers are being built at an amazing pace. Speed is key in China. Its economy has been growing fast for 3 decades to make the country bigger, richer and stronger. But its people, and especially their wages, haven't kept up with the pace of growth. With a university degree and a stable job, this man can't afford to live in Beijing and is sharing a flat with others in the suburb.
It's really hard for us young workers. We're 30-something. We want to get married, to have our own place to live, but our salaries are barely enough to make ends meet.
The rich-poor gap has been widening and social inequality has become a serious issue in today's China. Some economists even warn of an eventual economic collapse.
China has seen its glory days with a 14% growth rate. But those days are over. Today, growth is down to 7%, and people's incomes aren't rising fast enough. There's a risk China's economy could collapse.
A more even distribution of wealth is something Beijing needs to have to keep its political system intact.
Well, let's get some of the day's company news. And the online discount site Groupon has reported a loss of $3 million for the latest quarter. Sales were up by a third, and the site now has more than 200 million subscribers worldwide. Groupon floated on the stock exchange at $20 a share last November, but the share price closed at $4 on Thursday.
And job losses at Candia, France's biggest milk producer. The company plans to close 3 of its 8 sites, costing more than 300 jobs. Candia is struggling to turn around its loss-making business. The company blames increased competition in Europe for its troubles.
And British tax authorities want to know if criminals opened offshore accounts with HSBC. The Daily Telegraph newspaper says a probe has been launched into the bank. That follows a whistleblower handing over the names of clients with accounts in the Channel Island of Jersey. That list is said to include, among others, a drug dealer and 3 bankers facing fraud claims.
Right, Matthew, what's coming up next?
We've got a big deal in the online travel business. Now, the travel website Priceline is buying its rival Kayak, and this is a deal worth $1.8 billion, someone making a lot of money there. Now, this deal is just one sign of the huge shift in how people book travel and also of the way that technology is changing the travel industry.
She rehearses today in London, she'll perform tomorrow in Scotland and will soon be in Paris. Emily is a professional flutist, and to get to her next concert, she only needs to wrap up her flute, pack her suitcase and reserve her ticket.
They're all the same price, so I'm just going to get the earliest one. So I just click book now.
Emily organises all of her journeys using the web, and these days she's far from the only one. At the World Travel Market in London, online travel companies even have their own area. Over the last 10 years, internet has revolutionised the travel market.
More than half of all holidays are booked online, and inevitably those holidays are booked by the online travel agents. So they now dominate the travel industry. Interestingly, since the recession hit in 2008, 2009, that trend has actually accelerated.
The exhibition is also hosting a growing number of technology companies. Their products are mainly software or mobile apps, which, for example, help manage the online reputation of hotels.
Today, consumers are sharing their experiences, good or bad, on Twitter and Facebook, etc. What's spread throughout the internet, we gather it, we make it easy to filter, classify it, and respond. And that response could be internally within the hotel, related to operational or service improvements, or respond directly to the client through the internet.
The potential of this market is huge. Founded in 2009, this business now has 4,000 clients.
Matthew, let's turn our attention now to a new top dog in the French corporate world.
Yes, just now Total has lost its place as the #1 company by market capitalization in France. It's overtaken by the pharmaceutical company Sanofi. That was at the end of Thursday's trading session. It's all calculated by stock market price, and the share price of Sanofi has been up 19% this year, while Total's has fallen almost 5%.
Wow, and there's also a possible change in the way that we look at our banknotes.
Yes.
Something completely new coming up.
That's right. Let's take a quick look at how Eurozone banknotes are going to look in the future, because the ECB President Mario Draghi launched these and he was talking on Thursday. Now, the new design is called the Europa design, and they will be the €5 note is the first one that's going to be available. Now, as well as a new design, these notes will have more security from when they were launched 10 years ago. But I think it's worth pointing out, no need to start worrying about your current €5 notes. You don't need to go and start changing them. The old ones, we're told, will last indefinitely as well.
Well, the new notes look pretty fancy, don't they?
They do.
All right, Matthew, Aaron, thank you very much for that business news. Do stay tuned to France 24 for more news and analysis.